family, not just for yourself. I'm a bestseller, a house flipper, a businesswoman, a go-getter, a big investor, a goal builder that could teach you to get richer like millions, baby. You really about to fill your savings. You about to have multiple streams to pass your children, baby. Let me teach you to get your credit on track in the long run. You'll make it all back at Catalyst and watch it all psychology black on firm, but we ain't all black.
Hey, everybody. It is your girl. Let me move this back a little bit. I'm a little close. It's your girl, Constance Carter. How are you tonight, this Monday night? I'm so excited to be here, as always. So I just want to check in with you, all the queens, the kings and queens. I want to say what's up to you. And first, I want you to make sure that you subscribe to Fly Nubian Queen on our YouTube page. Make sure you subscribe. Go to Fly Nubian Queen. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you go to Nobody Works Harder Than Constance Carter. Make sure you go to that YouTube page and that Facebook page and make sure you subscribe and you follow those pages as well. All right. And for all the kings and the queens and the melanated people just like you, I want you to text the word queens to 31996. Again, text the word queens to 31996. All right. So what's up, you guys? I just want to have a conversation with you really quick because I'm so glad that so many people are logged on. There are hundreds of you that are on tonight. And so I'm excited to actually have a conversation with you. Hey, Brandy. Brandy actually was there. The reason why I'm talking about what I'm talking about tonight was because Brandy and a few of my friends, I've been remodeling my bathroom and my bedroom has been in a total disarray. And 4 of my friends came over on Saturday and they helped me out, you guys. It took 5 of us almost 8 hours to organize my room because it was in such a disarray, because I have some contractors over, but I have so many clothes and I have so many things that my girls came over and they helped me to organize everything. So I just want to give you a shout out. But in the midst of that, in the midst of us organizing some of my personal belongings, I ran across this memorabilia box. And it was from, I saw a letter in there. There was a few letters in there, and it was from my cousin Ray Jasper. And some of you may know, hey, Nicole. Nicole came through. Thank you, Nicole, for coming through. Katrina came through. Dawn came through, and Brandy came through and just helped me. So my cousin Ray Jasper, the name may ring a bell for you, for some of you, if you're up on, Death Row News. But my cousin Ray Jasper, he was executed by the state of Texas back in 2014. And it's getting a little tough for me. And I'm kind of a thug, tattoo tears. So I don't really be crying like that. But it really did something to me when I saw his letters. So there was these letters, and they were actually some of the first letters that he had written me. Now we've written each other over the years. Now Ray, we call him Ray. We grew up together, real small, right? And he was one of my favorite cousins. I was one of his favorite big cousins. And here goes a picture of me and him when we were little. It's my cousin Ray Jasper. And so yeah, I'm chubby on there. So anyway, I found out. So when I used to work at, because he got convicted, I think in 1998. So I was working at HP, Hewlett Packard back then. And I remember I used to talk to his mom all the time. We used to always email each other back and forth all the time. And I remember just growing up, I used to go over there for Christmas, and they had such a beautiful family. Mom, dad, brother, sister, and Ray. Ray was the youngest. And I just remember they were so beautiful, and they were so well put together. And I used to be like, man, I just want to be a part of their family, right? They're my cousins, but I wanted to be like one of their kids, because they were such a beautiful family. And, when they grew up and he went away, but I used to talk to his mom all the time via email. And I remember just one time, at one point, she just totally disappeared. I hadn't talked to her. Like, she just stopped emailing me completely. And I didn't know why. I later found out why was because he was on death row and he had committed this crime, and he had been involved in all this stuff, and she had probably took a leave of absence, but she just went MIA just out the blue. But I used to talk to each other just about every day, whether, sending Bible verses or whatever, just having a conversation. We always would email each other back and forth. And I remember during that time, that I think John P. Key, the gospel artist, came out with a tape. I think I had the tape or the CD. It was called Not Guilty. Let me see if I can find it. I had no idea at the time, no idea of what Ray Ray was going through. But sometimes, every now and then I would just, I would feel compelled to, do certain things. If I felt compelled to, let me see, let me show you guys the album cover. I don't know if you guys know the John P. Key, but so every now and then I would just feel compelled to just do certain things for certain people. So I sent her this John P. Key, Not Guilty CD. See, I see this over here, and he's on trial, right? Not guilty at the time. No idea that my cousin Ray was going through this. None at all. And, that just goes to show you that if God places on your heart to do something for somebody, then just do it. Right. I didn't know Ray Ray was on trial for death for murder, for capital murder. And, he was facing the death penalty. I had no idea. But I felt compelled to do that. And it was something that really touched her at the time because, she didn't know she knew that I didn't know. And I certainly didn't know. And, the way family is, sometimes they like to keep things a secret. So they weren't telling anybody, which I wish they would have, because then I wish I would have been able to really pray for him during the time he was going through that, or just been support. So when I found out that Ray Ray was on death row, I started writing him. So a couple of the letters that I found were some of the older letters from when we first started writing each other. And then, I wrote him for a couple of years, and then life got in the way. I started, started my family. I started having kids, career, and he would still write me every now and then. And I just got too busy. I would stop writing him. And about 2 months before he was set to be executed, he wrote me and said, "All right, Niecy," well, they call me Niecy, "my time is up. They're about to execute me." And I was sitting there stunned for like 20 minutes when I read the words on the paper, like, I'm getting ready to be executed. And I was just like sitting there like, wow. And I thought about all the time that had passed, that I didn't reach out to him, that I didn't write him, that I wasn't. And it crossed my mind several times, but I just didn't, life got in the way and I got too busy. And, several years had passed probably since I had written him last. And he had been on death row, I want to say, for about between 13 and 15 years, I believe. He was 33 or 34 when they executed him. Maybe it's 15 years. He was 18 when he participated in this crime. He had just turned 18 3 months prior when he participated in this crime. And if you read about the case, if you go and Google Ray Jasper, you'll find a lot of information. Of course, a lot of people have their opinions on what they think it is. But my cousin, he was a part of the crime, but he did not cause the death of the person. But he was the only one that was executed. So my cousin did not cause a death. He participated, but his actions did not result in the death of the gentleman. The other person, which was a white guy, ended up stabbing the guy 25 times, which caused him to die. He is now serving life. My cousin got the death penalty. So a few months before he died, he wrote this letter and it went viral. Millions of people shared it. It was on Gawker, letters from death row. And it was probably one of the most profound letters essays, letters that you could read. And he's talking about, him being on death row, what the prison system looks like, what the prison system is like, and, how he's his crime and all of those things. And you got to read it. If you Google Ray Jasper, Gawker, GAWKER, read the letter. It's a very, very profound letter that, he talks about his experience, and he talks about, what we know of the movie 13 or the Netflix biography 13, when they talk about, prison is slavery, slavery being abolished except for by the 13th Amendment, which we know prisons are slave institutions. And he speaks about that. And if you don't work, then they will put you in solitary confinement for years. So either you work for free or they put you in solitary. So it's like, what do you have to choose? What's your choice? And so he, this was a great essay that he wrote. And then, Iyanla ended up interviewing him. She never produced it though. She never aired it. And, it just did a whole lot. And we were still working like till the very end. I was writing him and, he had me write letters for him, different stuff like that, until the day he was executed, which was, I believe, March of 2014. In any case, the reason why I wanted to bring him up is because working in my room and seeing those letters, and I really felt compelled, with everything that's going on, especially with what we see President Trump executing, allowing these 4 individuals to be executed. I think 6 individuals to be executed, 4 being African American, 1 being a woman, before he ends his presidency. And no one has done that within the last 18 years, I believe. They said, actually, it was, I think, President Grover. I was just reading up on it. He was probably the last person who, or maybe he even started this, but a federal execution. Why Trump has any interest in executing prisoners, I have no idea why. But the lesson for me is that for my cousin, the things that he's been able to accomplish, and the lives that he was able to impact while in prison is absolutely profound. And so I just want to tell you guys today that no matter, like I have dozens and dozens of letters from him, and he was so at peace. He was even though he fought until the end, he was at peace with where he was because it was in his mind. He was in his mind and he was secure within his heart and his spirit. And during his time, he had become so wise. I could see the letters when the first letters that he had written me, he was still talking slang and stuff like that. And then the last letters that he had sent me were so intellectually stimulating. The growth was just insurmountable. And so because he was in prison, his mind wasn't in prison. But, a lot of times we allow ourselves to be in prison and we are absolutely free. We're free to do anything that we want to do. We're free to be whoever we want to be. We're free to set goals and achieve those goals, but we allow what's going on in our minds to hold us back. And here my cousin was on death row in a small cell, knowing that he was destined for death at 33, 34 years old. And he still managed to write a couple of books. I got these books. He sent these books to me and I got them after he died. He published 3 books, right? He sent these to me after he died. I got letters from him after he died. But he still managed to accomplish so many goals and with limited resources. Sometimes he would type, letters from typewriters. Sometimes he would handwrite them. His writing was beautiful. But what are you doing that's stopping you from being able to reach your goals? How have you imprisoned your own mind and inhibited yourself from living your best life? My cousin Ray Jasper, to the end, Ray, to the end, he was doing stuff. He was optimistic that maybe he wasn't going to die. But even in that optimism, he didn't sink to his own depression. And he didn't stop doing, he didn't stop living. He didn't stop trying to make an impact. He was preaching to people. He was praying for people. He had developed a serious love for God while he was in there. And he helped so many people. And so what are you doing in your life today that's helping people? What are you doing in your life that's helping yourself? What are you going to do in your life today that's going to impact somebody other than yourself? I was talking to my agents today. We do a Monday morning sales call. And, I have some agents that are mentors and some agents that are mentees. And, one of my agents, I was just telling her, how great is it for you to be so open, to be able to be willing and a vessel to help somebody else? Because the way we become successful is by helping others to become successful. So in your life today, who are you helping to better their life? What impact are you making on somebody else? And really think about that. Really think about what you're doing that can really make an impact on others. And if you're not doing anything that's making an impact on others, if you're not doing anything that can effectuate change, that's okay. You can start today. But we need to stop being bound by being in prisons of our minds. That's stopping us from starting. That's stopping us from completing our tasks. Being stuck in our procrastination. Always planning, masking our planning or procrastination for planning because we're afraid to launch. When this man was in prison, these ain't the best graphics. I don't know who drew them for him. These ain't the best graphics, but he did something. He had a typewriter. He was typing these. You know what I mean? Power in Prayer, a 30-day devotional. Like he was really pouring out his thoughts. There's probably a book inside you that you've been waiting to write, but you've been waiting on the right time to write that book. And my cousin's in prison on death row, getting ready to die. He writing books. There's probably, something. There's something that you're supposed to be doing that you're not doing. And so I want you to look at people like him. The Brandon Bernard gentleman that's on death row right now. He went to prison. He committed a crime, but he became a model citizen. And he's helping so many people, but yet they're still sentencing him to die. What would you do if you knew that you only had a limited amount of time left? What would you do if you knew that you couldn't fail? Think about that. If you knew that you only had a limited amount of time left and you knew that you couldn't fail, what would that thing that you would be doing? Do it. Be like Nike. Just do it. Stop sitting in that procrastination. Stop taking your life for granted. I just talked to my cousin and my godmother, who I'm named after. Her name is Constance. She's not doing well. COVID, not doing well at all. And so I want you guys to send prayers out to Constance. Please send prayers out to Constance. She's not doing good at all. But tomorrow's not promised. So live today like it's your last. Do the things that you've always wanted to do and quit waiting. You might get COVID tomorrow. You might get hit by a bus tomorrow. And you do not want to live the rest of your life, or you don't want to end your life with things that you wish you would have done. Capitalize on them today. All right. So Marsha, he was already executed. My cousin was executed in 2014. Google him. His name is Ray Jasper, my cousin. And I'm going to show you a little picture of me and him again. That was my little cousin. I was his favorite big cousin. And that was a picture of us. So anytime he would come around, he would always be running behind me. And so, I was probably one of the only people, when he was executed, I was the only one outside of his immediate family that actually came to the funeral. And God just provided a way for me to be able to do it. And it was meant for me to do it. But that was my cousin. I was there with him in life, and I'm there with him in death. But I want you to be encouraged and not feel sad about the story. I want you to be encouraged because I want you to look at your life and say, what is it, that thing that I need to be doing in my life to make sure that I live with no regrets, to make sure that I live my life as the fullest that I can. Put aside all nonsense, all games, and really focus. And that focus shouldn't just be about money, because that's what got him on death row, right? Money, capitalism, rugged capitalism, greed, prisons, all that stuff. That's, of course, him participating in a crime, but more so, what can you do to help others? And that's the reason why I talk about building wealth. The wealth that I'm talking about building is not just to have a lot of money. It's how can we effectuate change in our communities? It's how can we change the next generation? Because at this point, like, I'm 44 years old, and my generation, is not that it's over, but we've done what we are what we are. But who are really going to impact are our children. And so having those wealth conversations, it breeds change. and it's going to affect our children. That's why, my son, he has a stock class. I had him on last Friday, and he has a stock class. He has over 70 something people signed up for a stock class, and he's helping people. He's impacting people. He's helping people to be able to learn how to trade stocks so they can make money, so that they can build wealth. They can have multiple revenue streams. But teach your children. We didn't really, a lot of us didn't learn financial literacy, but now it's time for us to learn, and we could teach our children so that they don't have to resort to committing crimes. Because just like he said in his essay, he said when he got into prison, it was so many Black people. He had never seen that many Black people in his life. He said it felt like he was in Africa because it was so many Black folks. They are locking up our children. And the way we can fight back, unfortunately, is with the green. So we have to make sure that, we are getting ourselves and our community on track so that we can protect and we can save our babies, our children, and our children's children. The Bible says a wise man leaves an inheritance for his children and his children's children. And so what inheritance are you leaving for your children, your children's children? Think about that. Think about how you can impact. Think about what the things that you can do. I'm going to be doing a Q&A this week on Constance Carter VIP. All your questions. Now, I don't just talk about, love and all that stuff. I talk about or my mind. This was on my mind today because I happened to run across some letters from my cousin, and I got emotional. I got a little choked up, and I don't normally cry, but I got a little emotional when I ran across those letters from my little cousin. And so I just wanted to share him with you, with the people that I love, because I loved him. And no matter what happened, he was still my cousin. And so, so my point is, what was my point? I love my cousin. But anyway, so getting back, Constance Carter VIP. So I want to make sure that you guys go and sign up, go and subscribe. The first month is free. But I'll be doing a Q&A session with anybody who has any questions, whether it's about, credit, building wealth, finances, how to build your business. I built my business to a 7-figure business from scratch, 1 year outside of bankruptcy. I was a year out of bankruptcy when I built my business. And so I know when they say started from the bottom, now we're here. I really started from the bottom. And not that I've arrived, but I've managed to build a pretty successful business, and I have some great people that I surround myself with. And so I'll be answering questions on ConstanceCarterVIP.com. So make sure you guys go and subscribe, and you guys come to the Q&A. Ask me those personal questions, everything that you want to ask. All right. So pray for me. Pray for my godmother Constance. Please extend your hands out and pray for my godmother Constance Campbell. Because, it doesn't look good for her right now, but I'm believing that God could heal her completely. So anyway, thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate it. And I just hope that I could just make an impact on somebody, even if it's just one person. I pray that I've made an impact on you so that you can do something different that's going to not only change your life, but change somebody else's life. Because it's not just about us. It's about who we are able to impact. All right.
Yeah, it's CC, CEO. Wanna change your life? Come see me, yo. I'ma teach you how to build up wealth for your family, not just for yourself. I'm a bestseller, a house flipper, a businesswoman, a go-getter, a big investor, a goal builder that can teach you to get richer like millions, baby. You really about to fill your savings. You about to have multiple streams to impact your children, baby. Let me teach you to get your credit on track in the long run. You'll make it all back at Catalyst and watch it all psychological black on firm, but we ain't